I'm thinking I don't like that so much.
Hey all, Sai here!
So remember I made a routered size corner sign, and it was when I first started routering signs and it really didn't turn out like I was hoping it would turn out. So I think that I'm just gonna make one Intarsia like. And so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. What I did was I printed off the design using Rapid Resizer, and I'm going to now tape it together. A viewer told me about Rapid Resizer, and I'm really grateful. I use it all the time to print out what I need for my projects. I have to cut the edges off to tape the pages together, but it beats enlarging with my printer and usually getting the placement wrong, so it cuts off the part I wanted. So I have to adjust it a smidge and then try it again and again and again. Where Rapid Resizer allows you to pick the size that you want, and then it prints it off in multiple sheets, so you can just tape it together. I printed a copy from this taped master, cut it up, then placed blue tape on yellow heart, purple heart, and walnut. Since the swooshes under the house were too long for printing, and I didn't want to print it out on the Rapid Resizer, I'm not sure why, but I decided to use carbon paper instead and just trace them onto the wood I was going to use, which is poplar. It is greenish, so I thought it would be good for the grass swooshes. Then I cut the grass. Next, I used some Loctite spray adhesive and sprayed the backs of the pieces and added them to their woods. A few people have given me some ideas for these pieces that fly away. One was to spray the surface you are attaching instead of the pieces, and the other was to use like a shish kebab stick to hold them in place while spraying. Both are good ideas. I like the shish kebab stick idea because then you know that the glue is getting all over that piece that you're spraying. I just need to go find some. Then I cut all of those pieces out on the scroll saw with a number 5 Pegasus modified geometry blade. The problem I have with my wood is nothing is flat. The planer is in Prineville, so I'm using what I have, and it seems 90% of what I have is messed up in the flat department. And that's because I resawed with the table saw, and you know how that leaves wood. But soon I will be with the planer again and my wood will be nice and flat. In the meantime, I'm working with wobbly wood. I pounded the windows into place, but ended up adjusting them quite a bit. Then I used the pneumatic drum sander on each piece with 80 grit. Then rounded the edges slightly with 100 grit. Then I sanded with 150 and 220 grits. I am going to cut out size corner in walnut. And I am using a Pegasus modified geometry blade number 12. It's this huge guy. Yeah, because this is pretty thick. And it cuts 3/5 of an inch to 1 4/7 of an inch. Those fractions, ugh, yikes. Anyway, I think this will work. So, yay! My blower tip cracked, so the air from the blower isn't concentrated enough to move the sawdust away. So when I started actually blowing on it, I realized I should have my mask on. So after that, I would have to stop, pull down the mask to blow off the dust, put the mask back on, and then start again. And my glasses kept falling off too, so cutting this out was a long process. But finally it was done and I removed the paper. It didn't come off so easy because I didn't use the tape here. Not sure why. But the sander took any residual paper right off. Well, I don't have a backer board big enough, so I'm gluing 2 pieces together. And I'm hoping it works. I'm going to glue this on the back this way. Over them like that. So, yikes. See if it works. Let's see if it works. glue all the things. I had to rig up an interesting clamp system. This long piece clamped on each end and going diagonal across a project worked pretty well. Hopefully that works. Yikes. I didn't like the seam line that was evident because the two pieces had been glued together, so my idea was to make more seam lines parallel to the original line, hoping that when I put a finish on it, it will show all of the seam lines. If I can't take it away, I might as well add more. So I measured out and marked 5 more lines, then went over them with an X-Acto knife. Well, we'll see if that works. Then I put a verse on the back. I have been using the lacquer thinner transfer technique lately, and I've figured out to apply the lacquer to one word or so at a time and rub it until it dries, then move on to another word or so. And that seems to work best. The verse is Proverbs 16:3, and it says, "Depend on the Lord in whatever you do and your plans will succeed." I would like my projects to succeed, so this is a good reminder of where I should be starting. Then I flipped it over, laid it out, and started gluing. I used a few leaking sandbags to hold things down for a bit. I love using sandbags, but I need to use something other than thin plastic Ziploc bags to hold the sand. Well, let's take the sandbags off. Yeah, put the holes in them. Some sand stuck on there. And let's see. I used 220 grit to sand off any glue that had squeezed out and any sand that was now stuck to the project. It all came off pretty easily. I used natural Danish oil, hoping the backer board wouldn't get too dark, and hoping those added X-Acto lines would show up. The sign's all dry. Well, I messed up on it. I moved these C's to be touching and then slanted a little bit more. I was able to get them off of this, believe it or not. I thought, man, I'm not gonna be able to do that, but it actually came off. So cool. And then the sun, this is supposed to be in walnut because my logo, that's dark. But I'm not gonna change it, I'm gonna leave it like that. So anywho, yay, it's done! I think I like this better than the one that I did routering. So this will be replaced in my Prineville shop. Yay, cool. So I'm excited to put this up in the Prineville shop. Here at the Prineville shop, getting ready to put my sign up. Woohoo! Yay! And take the other one down. Well, I do like this sign better than the routed one. I wish I'd used a different backer, a lighter backer like pine or something. And the X-Acto parallel lines I made didn't show up like I'd hoped, but the seam where the two boards meet isn't very noticeable either. So that is better than I expected. Cool. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye!